السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أسعد الله مساكم ضيوفنا الكرام. أنا محدثكم حسان الحميدان، وبالنيابة عن زملائي في شركة ES Consulting، وعن ضيفنا في هذه الندوة المستشار الخبير نيكولاس فاسيليادس. نرحب بكم في ندوة موضوعها عن شهادة مدقق نظم المعلومات إصدار 2024، حيث سيناقش ضيفنا الكريم أهم التحديثات التي حصلت على هذه الشهادة ومتطلباتها وكيف ننجح بالحصول عليها. كما نشير أن هذه الدورة معتمدة كساعات تعلم مستمر من قبل معهد آيزاكا المانح لهذه الشهادة. ستمتد بإذن الله هذه الندوة لمدة ساعة وربع، وسنخصص آخرها للمناقشة والأسئلة. يرجى استخدام خاصية الشات لكتابة الأسئلة في أي وقت، ويفضل أن تكتب باللغة الإنجليزية. كذلك للأشخاص الذين لم يسجلوا قبل بداية هذه الدورة، يرجى التأكد من إضافة الاسم والبريد الإلكتروني وكذلك رقم الجوال، حيث سيتم إرسال شهادة الحضور ونسخة إلكترونية، وكذلك نسخة إلكترونية من العرض، وكذلك هدية وهي عبارة عن خصم على دورات آيزاكا. Assalamu alaikum and good evening to you all. This is Hassan AlHumaidan speaking on behalf of my fellow team members at ES Consulting and our special guest, Mr. Nicholas Vasiliadis. We welcome you all to this webinar. It is about the Certified Information Systems Auditor, the 2024 edition. Here, Nicholas will take us through a journey to explain the certificate key updates and the best ways to succeed. You should be happy to know that the seminar is accredited as a continuing educational hours by the ISACA Institute, which grants this certificate. Nicholas will cover this topic in the next 75 minutes, and then we'll move to questions and answers. Please use the chat section to write your questions at any given time and moment. And please, participants who didn't register before the start of this webinar, please add your names, email addresses, and mobile numbers, as the attendance certificate, as well as the presentation handout, will be sent afterwards. Also with a special discount on ISACA courses as a gift. Without further ado, I will leave you with our guest. Nicholas, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much. I really envy you. Your Arabic is perfect, but I didn't understand anything you said in Arabic. Anyway, very large welcome from my part. Thank you for being with us today. As Hassan told you, the topic is about the new CISA certification from ISACA. But it's not only that. We will also go through a short presentation of the other 4 premium certifications of the same accreditor, ISACA, in order for you to have a clear picture of the whole, let's say, realm of ISACA certifications. I will try to keep it short. I will try to finish in shorter than 75 minutes in order to give more time for questions and discuss all the concerns that you may have about the exam. Let's start. We will talk about these 5 premium certifications. The CISA, Certified Information System Auditor. This will be the lion's part of the presentation. We will talk about Certified Information Security Manager, Certified in Risk and Information System Control, Certified Data Privacy Solutions Engineer, and Certified in the Governance of Enterprise IT. A lot of certifications, 5 certifications. The first question probably is, okay, why do we need all this certification? What is the point to have all this certification, which more or less all of them start with a C and they have to do with IT one way or another. So why do we need all of them? Let me guide you through my approach when I try to explain the need for all these certifications. Pay attention to this infographic. This infographic shows on a high level, a bird's eye view of a contemporary organization. Every organization today is something like that. No matter if it is public organization, private organization, profit, non-profit, charity, any kind of organization works in the way that we see here. We start with a vision. Every organization starts with a vision. What is a vision? A vision is a picture from the future. We imagine ourselves, our company, our family in a certain way in 5 years, 10 years, 6 months, 2 years from now. The vision is something blurred. We don't know the exact distance between us and the vision. We know the direction we have to go, but the distance is not clear. The obstacles that we are going to face are not clear. So what we do, we break down the vision and we set objectives. Objectives are nothing more than milestones that we have to go through in order to reach the vision. And both the vision and the objectives are set by the top management of the organization or the owners of the organization. So I have in my hand my vision, and in other hand, I have my objectives, and I go inside the organization to talk with the various department heads. Imagine, for example, that I am a bank, and my vision is to become, in 5 years from now, the point of reference in digital banking. One of the objectives that I have to set is digital transformation of the bank. How can I become a reference in digital banking without having go through digital transformation? So I present myself in the IT department and I say, look, guys, our vision is in 5 years from now to become the leading digital bank. And one of our objectives is digital transformation. Now, the IT needs to set departmental goals, to set targets that will be aligned with the business objectives, and they need to be achieved to support the business objectives of the bank, of the organization. And these goals need to be based, need to be supported by initiatives. Initiative is a set of projects, of services, of products run inside the IT department, and all of them work together to the direction of the digital transformation. Let's say, for example, that one of the IT goals aligned with digital transformation is the IT security, cyber security. So we cannot have digital transformation without cyber security. And what we need to do in order to achieve, in order to serve, support cyber security, we need to run some initiatives. One of these initiatives may be perimeter security, how we are going to secure the infrastructure of the organization, the building, the premises, the main premises. So we run some initiative, we run some projects. One project may be to install, for example, a firewall. Another project may be to run and install an antivirus application. Another project may be to give an awareness to our users, to start an awareness campaign. Except of the projects, we also start providing services to our users. One of the services may be one-time password or multi-factor authentication. All these are projects and services that we run inside the initiative of perimeter security, which is there to support the goal of cyber security. And we also use products, the antivirus product, firewall, etc. All these things, in order to run and succeed, need tasks performed by people. What is a task? Something with a deadline. I need to complete the awareness campaign until, let's say, 3rd of June. I need to install this until the end of the week. And these tasks, in order to be fulfilled, need assets. An asset is anything that has a value for the organization, and we use it to do our job. So you see that all of them are connected with a rope. We start with the vision, and the vision is connected with the IT goals connected with the initiatives, and we go down to the assets. This means what? If I go back to my home every night and somebody asks me, how did you contribute today to the vision of the organization? I need to be able to give an answer, because if I do something that is not aligned with the vision, two things may happen. Either I am not aware of the vision, nobody communicated the vision to me, or there is no mechanism in place to make sure that all these things are aligned with the vision. How can we see something like that? We see organizations which start projects and they realize that these projects should not start in the first place. They are useless. Or they buy products and they use only 10% of the features of the product. So we miss the alignment. We do things that are not aligned with the goals, not aligned with the objectives. The left side of this infographic, everything that I explained so far, belongs to the performance part of the organization. What we do in order to achieve our objectives, to achieve our goals. And the alignment that we talk about is nothing more than the organization governance. If we don't have governance, if we don't have the right governance, we will have projects that are not aligned with the vision, not aligned with the goals, not aligned with the business objectives. There is also the right part of the infographic. The right part of the infographic has to do with what? It has to do with risks. What is a risk? A risk is anything that may affect the achievement of our objectives. It is an uncertain event, unexpected circumstances, things that we don't anticipate, we don't know if they happen and when they happen. And what they do, they threat our assets. COVID-19, for example, was threatening people. A virus, an electronic virus, threats information. A hardware failure threats our equipment. An earthquake threats our building. All these are risks. And risks, by threatening our assets and our tasks, affect the achievement of our goals. So what we need to do? We need to use controls. Control is anything that can manage risks, can reduce the risk, can do something with the risk. And where do we find these controls? Fortunately, we are not the first organization in the planet which face this risk. So there are frameworks out there that can help us identify the controls that we need. So we adopt a framework and we adapt it to our organization. And the framework includes requirements. Requirements are suggested controls, things that we may do in order to manage the risk. So we identify the requirements, we calculate the distance between the controls that we apply now and the requirements, we do the gap assessment, and we end up with managing the risks. Frameworks may be standards, ISO standards, maybe regulations, maybe best practices, maybe legislative requirements, anything that gives us a set of requirements. The right part of the infographic is what we call conformance. And speaking in governance terms, the left part is what we call business governance. The right part is what we call corporate governance. So the whole infographic describes what we call enterprise governance. Everything we do in order to achieve our objectives, but at the same time, we respect the rules, we respect the constraints, and we manage the risk. And now it's time to position the 5 premium ISACA certifications to this infographic, to this, let's say, description. How can we be sure that our IT goals will be the goals that really support our business objectives? How can we know that the information systems we have are the right information systems for the job? The initiatives that we run are the correct ones. I don't say that they run correctly. I say that they are the correct ones, the ones that we need to achieve our goals. In this case, we need a certified for governance of enterprise IT. These ISACA certifications ensures alignment between the IT and the business. We are sure that everything we do supports our business objectives, initiatives, goals, everything is aligned with the IT. We get value from the IT. The investment that we make comes back in the form of ROI, return on investment. Who has the knowledge to make sure that this happens? Do we need someone to check the alignment of information systems with the enterprise goals? We need someone to be ready to answer the question, do I have the right information systems? Did I buy this information system in the right price? Do I spend the right amount of money for the IT department? Yes, fortunately, there is such a person, and it is a certified information system auditor, a CISA. A CISA acts on behalf of the management and makes sure that all the investments we make to the IT are aligned with the business objectives, the systems operate as they're supposed to operate, and we don't have to be afraid about our assets, about the security, the protection of our assets, and probably about violating laws and regulations. So this is the role of the CISA inside the organization. We also talk about risks that threat our assets. In order to manage the risk properly, and especially the risk threatening our information assets, in order to protect the information that threat our organization, we need to design an information security framework. And an information security framework which will be both effective and efficient, will protect the assets by spending the right amount of money, the right effort, the right resources. This is the CISM, the Certified Information Security Manager. He's a manager which makes sure that everything we do for information security is the right thing for this particular organization. We don't do information security for information security. We do information security for the business, for this particular organization. What about the risk now? Okay, CISM designs the information security framework, but do we have anyone who is able to identify and assess the overall risk that threats our organization? Not only information security risk, any kind of risk, any kind of, let's say, bad, unexpected event that may threat the achievement of our objectives. Yes, this guy is CIRISC. CIRISC is about certified risk and information system control. We identify any risk that may jeopardize the operation of our information systems. And in particular, risks that are threatening our personal data, either personal data of our customers or personal data of our employees, these can be identified and managed by a CDP-SC, someone who is the data protection officer of the organization. As you can see, by placing all ISACA certification in this infographic, we actually cover most of the concerns we may have in the organization, starting from the alignment, answering the question, do I have the right information system? Did I buy the right information systems? Do they operate correctly? The CISA, which makes sure it has an objective assessment, an objective attestation that yes, this works as it's supposed to work. CISA, which is about information security, C-Risk, about risk management, and CDPSC, which covers personal data. Now, we will focus on CISA, Certified Information System Auditor, and I will present you the last version of the exam and the material, which was created in 2024, sorry, a couple of weeks ago, actually. It was published for the trainers in 1st of May. So I'm happy to show you the content of the CISA exam and the some tips that you need to pass the exam. I have to tell you that this exam will be active from 1st of August 2024. It is not ready yet. If you sit now for CISA exam, it is not the new exam, it will be the old exam. Until 31st of July, the old exam is up and running. And from 1st of August, you can sit for the new exam. So if you attend the course right now, we can't deliver the course using the new material, but you will be able to sit for the exam from 1st of August. This is something that needs to be clarified from the beginning. So let's have a look at this CISA material. First of all, we need to have an overview of the exam itself. And when we say exam, everything we say reflects to the material, of course. I don't know if you are familiar with ISACA exams. All of the exams have 150 questions, and you have 4 hours, 240 minutes to answer these questions. All these questions are multiple choice. You don't have to write anything. They are closed questions, and for 4 answers, you have to select the right one. There is always one correct answer. The content of CISA exam is what you see here. We have 5 domains. Domain first is about auditing information systems. Please remember, CISA is not about information security auditor. It's about information systems auditor. We don't audit only for security. We audit about information systems generally. So the first domain is about auditing information system. This domain can be, let's say, understood, can be attended by any person without audit experience or with audit experience in another sectors. We have many financial auditors, for example, coming in CISA seminars. And this is 17% of your exam. You will have 21 questions out of 150 referring to auditing of information system, techniques of audit, the practice of audit. Domain number 2, which has 22 questions, is governance and management of IT. Here, we will learn how to examine the alignment of information systems with the objectives, the goals, etc., and how we make sure that we have the right information system for the job. Domain number 3 is about information systems acquisition, development, and implementation. Information system acquisition, development, and implementation starts from the business need. Why do we need this particular information system? Why do we need an information system in the first place? And then we go through the whole process of development or acquisition of the system. Either we build or we buy. If we build, we will talk about software development, system development, deployment, release, installation, things like that. If we buy, we will start from the RFP, and we will see how we evaluate proposals coming from suppliers, and we end up with the installation and activation of the system. All these are subject of audit. We try to see if this takes place inside the organization correctly, following the best practices and the standards. The last two domains are the most significant for CISA. The domain number 4 is information system operations and business resilience. This is an IT material. It helps a lot for you to have an IT background, but it is not necessary. You can attend the course without IT background. It will simply need more study from your part. So here we learn how information system operate. We touch topics from service management. We talk about incident management, change management, demand management, and things like that. And the last one is about IT security, protection of information assets. So these 5 domains are is the whole material that we have to learn to pass the CISA exam. I want to give you more information in order for you to have a complete picture of the material. The first domain, information system auditing process, has actually 2 parts. The first part is about planning. How do we plan an audit, an information system audit? And what we will learn after this domain, how to plan an audit, how to conduct an audit in accordance with audit standards, how to communicate the audit progress and the findings that we identified during the audit, how to conduct the follow-up, how to evaluate the controls that are in place. Remember the controls we talked about in our infographic, and how to use data analytics and even contemporary tools like AI and machine learning to present the results of the audit. AI and machine learning are new to CISA exam. We'll talk about the new version of CISA exam. And of course, it would not be a new version if it would not adopt the new tools and the emerging technologies that we have in the field of IT. So the topics here are audit standards, types of audits, risk-based audit planning, types of controls. The second part of the first domain, which is about auditing, is the execution of the audit. So how we perform the audit, actually. Here we talk about audit project management, testing and sampling methodologies, a very interesting topic because we talk a lot about sampling, about statistics, about referential statistics. Things are useful, especially if you want to audit a huge organization with thousands of systems and assets. Evidence collection techniques, how can we interview people to extract the information that we need as auditors, data analytics and how we present the results, reporting and communication, and quality assurance of the audit process. So at the end, after we finish this domain, you know about key performance indicators, IT supplier selection and contract management, evaluation of service management practices, conduct periodic review of information systems, and all these things. This is the first domain, which focuses on the audit process. The second one is governance and management of IT. So obviously we have 2 sections, IT governance and IT management. IT governance is about laws, regulation, industry standards, organizational structure, policies, enterprise architecture, enterprise risk management, privacy, etc. The alignment that we talked about in our introduction. And the second part is IT management, how we operate the IT. So resource management, vendor management, performance monitoring and reporting, and quality assurance. Domain number 3 is about acquisition, development, and implementation. So the first part, we talk about acquisition and development, and we discuss things like project governance and management, business case, which justifies the investment, system development methodologies, control identification and design. And the second part is about information system implementation, system readiness and implementation testing, implementation configuration and release management, system migration, post-implementation review. And as we said, the last two domains are the more IT-oriented. So first we have information system operation and business resilience. So information system operation, which includes IT components, IT asset management, job scheduling and production process automation, system interfaces, end user computing and shadow IT, system availability, problem and incident management, change configuration and patch management, log management, service level management, database management. We talk a lot about IT concepts and technicalities of IT. And the second part is business resilience, business impact analysis, system and operational resilience, data backup, storage and restoration, business continuity plan, disaster recovery plan. All these are important topics that we need to understand and have in our mind whenever we perform an information system audit. And the last domain is about information security, protection of information assets. So we have two parts, information asset security and control. Here we talk about security policies, security framework, standards, guidelines, physical and environmental controls, identity and access management, network and endpoint security, data loss prevention, data encryption, public key infrastructure, cloud and virtualized environments, mobile, wireless, and Internet of Things devices. And we also have the security event management, which includes security awareness and training programs, information system attack methods and techniques, testing tools and techniques, monitoring logs, incident response, and evidence collection. So this is the material that we have to go through in order to be able to sit for the CISA examination. Let's have a look now. I didn't prepare a slide for it, but I have it in my, let's say, PDF. Let's have a look now at the changes that we have from the previous version of the CISA exam. As you probably know, and if you don't know, it's easy for me to present it to you. ISACA always creates new material and updates the material for its exams. Why? Because all ISACA exams are based on practical knowledge. You need to know how to do things. You need to learn how to do things in order to pass the exam. So we have over 500 slides rewritten and redesigned, except of the look and feel. We also improved the content of the slide. We added emerging technologies. We added things that come as a feedback from more than 10,000 instructors globally. And we also have structured activities to make the course more interactive. So far, CISA course was based on a lecture. The trainer started talking. We had some questions during the training, and these questions triggered some discussion, and we exchanged experience. Now, by ISACA itself, the material is more interactive. We have activities, we have even role-playing games that we can use during the course. We ask you to perform an audit to us, and you start auditing. You behave like an auditor. We try to trap, we try to put some obstacles to you in order to make your life difficult. And at the end, the whole course is more interesting and more attractive, I would say, and also more effective because you learn in practice what exactly you will meet in a regular information system audit. So interactivity is the first thing that we have as a change in CISA exam. Okay, the new format, we also have, this is for online course, it's not for us. We also have new questions in QA material, the database of the questions that you get when you attend an ISACA, an accredited ISACA course. So this will help a lot pass the exam because it has more than 1,000 questions, similar to the exam questions. Of course, they are not the same, but they are very close to the original, to the questions of the exam. So you will be ready in a shorter time to sit for the exam and pass it successfully. We also have some changes in the review manual, the official study guide of the CISA exam. So you will see new technologies here. We have updated the IT assessment framework, the IT assurance framework, types of audits and assessments. We added some new paragraphs in order to adopt new techniques and emerging technologies. You'll see also changes in data analytics because we added artificial intelligence and machine learning reference in order to make it to follow the emerging technologies. We have added sections for organizational structure, privacy principles. Privacy now is a very important thing. All countries have privacy laws, so ISACA could not leave CISA without a very good background for privacy. We have some added material for governance and classification, quality assurance, system development methodologies. We give a lot of emphasis to DevOps, Agile, DevSecOps, new technologies, new methodologies that are used now in organizations and successfully. Common technology components. We have also involvement of wireless networking, RFID technologies, end-user computing, shadow IT. Things are new the last 5 years. The previous version of the material was in 2019. So these 5 years from 2019 to 2024, a lot of technologies, a lot of emerging technologies and techniques came up, and we also had to embed it in CISA material. Domain number 5, about protection of information assets. We talk about endpoint security. We talk about EDR and XDR systems. Quantum cryptography, one of the major concerns we have in data encryption today. We are afraid that quantum cryptography will cause issues in cryptography, in data encryption. Why? Because if we adopt this kind of technologies, brute force attack will be easier and more effective. So we talk about it. We talk about homomorphic encryption, about Kerberos. These are new topics that we cover in the new version of the material. And also things related to common attacks. We added paragraph for ransomware. We have a new section for cloud and virtualized environments. We focus on security concerns for cloud. And of course, we have some additions for incident response management and evidence collection. We talk about forensics, for example. We don't go deeply into forensics, but we have some a very nice content, new content about forensics. So this concludes the session of CISA. I will go to CISM now, and please keep your questions for the last quarter where we have a Q&A session. I try to keep it short, as I said. I know it's late. Let's talk a little bit about CISM. CISM is also a new exam because we had the new material in 2022. So it's a brand new exam also. It's less than 2 years since we had the new material of CISM. CISM has, as I said, the information security manager part. So the first domain of CISM is about information security governance. We need to make sure that we have the right information security for the job. In information security governance, we cover topics like enterprise governance overview, organizational culture, structure, roles, responsibilities, legal requirements, information security strategy, strategic planning, frameworks, and standards. Everything that we need to do in order to be sure that we cover this particular information security. We have information security which is right for us, right for the job. Learning objectives, the role of governance, the importance of information security governance in the overall enterprise governance context, influence of enterprise leadership, relevant legal, regulatory, contractual requirements, describe the effects of information security strategy, common frameworks, critical metrics that we need to use. The second domain is about information security risk management. What I need to do in order to identify risks threatening my assets, threatening my information systems, and how can I manage these risks? So in this domain, we learn about risk and threat landscape, vulnerability and control deficiency analysis, information risk response, risk monitoring, and learning objectives are these: risk assessment strategies, types of threats, explain how security controls baseline affect vulnerability and control deficiency analysis, etc. Domain number 3 in CISM is actually the application of domain 1. In domain 1, we learned about information security governance. So we have a framework in our hands, information security governance framework, and now we need to develop a program which covers, which executes this framework. When we see the word program, it means implementation. So domain number 3 in CISM is about security, information security program development and management. We will learn about resources, standards and frameworks, the roadmap, program metrics, program management, awareness and training, and how to integrate the security program with IT operation. With your permission, I would like to stay a little bit here. I started my career 32 years ago. The last 25 years, I built and established information management systems and information security management systems. My experience shows that one of the most important factors that lead to failure of information security management system is the lack of integration. We don't have integrated systems. We don't manage to make information security part of the job, part of everyday business activities. This is the problem. Lack of resources, lack of management commitment, lack of experience come later. The most important factor which leads to failure is lack of integration. So we pay attention to this topic in this training, how to integrate the security program with IT operations. It is very important and very often it is missing from our radar. What we learn here: components and resource used to build an information security program, distinguish between standards. We learn how to choose the right standard for our organization, because what we do with standards, we adopt and adapt. We don't take the standard as it is, we always adapt it to our needs. Describe the process and the roadmap, explain how to manage the information security program. I would rephrase ISACA here and I would say how to sell information security program. What we learn in this training is mainly how to sell information security program to the management, to the people that have the money And they see, and of course they see, information security as an investment. So in this training, we learn how to calculate the return on investment of information security in order to convince the management that yes, they need to invest, they need to accept, they need to approve the business case and approve the budget to proceed with information security. And the last domain is about information security incident management. What is an incident? An incident is a risk that has been materialized. So domain number 4 is the application of domain number 2. In domain number 2, we talked about risk. Now we talk about incidents. So we examine incident management and incident response. We examine incident response plan, classification and categorization of incidents, eradication, business impact and continuity, disaster recovery planning, all these things that are related to incident management. Incident management is very important because it is the first step of a long ladder which starts from incident, continues with disaster, and ends up with crisis. Everything, disaster, crisis, everything starts as an incident. So something important that we learn in this course is how to decide if we have a disaster and we need to invoke the disaster recovery plan, or if we reach the level of a crisis and we need to involve senior people, C-level executives to handle the crisis and inform the stakeholders, represent the organization to the media, to the authorities, etc. These are things that we also cover in this training in the last domain. CISA and CISM are the most famous certifications of ISACA, of these 5 premium certifications. Most people attend either CISA, most of them CISA and CISM. But we also have 3 other certifications which are equally important. And as I showed to you before, they support the organization in every situation. One of them is the CRISC, certified in the Risk and Information Systems Control. The topics here are governance, IT risk assessment, risk response and reporting, and information technology and security. We focus on the risk, and especially the operational risk, which is threatening our information systems. Here are the domains. Again, we have 150 questions for 4 hours. The first topic about governance of the CRISC exam has key risk concepts. We learn about risk, what is a risk, organizational strategy, goals and objectives, structure, roles and responsibilities, culture, risk governance, professional ethics, laws, regulation, and contracts. And the learning objectives are here. How to, the key concepts of risk impact to enterprise, distinguish between governance and management. I guess that you already noticed that every training, every certification of ISACA starts with governance, one way or the other. In CISA, we talked about information system governance. In CISM, we talked about information security governance. Here, we talk about risk governance. Why? Because the main concept of ISACA is that we don't do IT for the IT. We do IT for the business. IT is a business enabler. It's something that will help the business exploit opportunities and manage risks. We have a path from business to IT. I have a business need, and it is translated into IT specification to find a solution and give a solution. Or the other way around. I have emerging technologies, new technologies that can be translated into business opportunities. For example, e-banking. E-banking started as a need, as a business need. Banks needed to reach their customers without having physical contact. And e-banking was supported by IT with all these solutions, networks, mobile applications, encryption, and all these things. The other way around is, for example, blockchain. Blockchain started as an emerging technology in the technical domain, and now we see a lot of organizations, banks, insurance companies, using blockchain to exploit the opportunity and offer new services, new products to their customers. This is what ISACA is focused on. The function of the IT as an interface between the business and technology, risk, information security, etc. So the learning objectives here in this first domain is here, describe the concept of enterprise risk management, legal, regulatory, obligation, and these things. The second domain is about IT risk assessment. How can we identify risk events? How can we model threats in a contemporary threat landscape? How can we conduct a vulnerability analysis? How to develop a risk scenario? How to maintain a risk register? How to conduct a business impact analysis? So everything we need to know about risk is here. And we define the types of risk events, compile the threat profile using threat modeling techniques, explain the risk assessment process, and other things. I don't stay in every detail because I want to give emphasis to Q&A at the end. Domain number 3 is about risk response. Okay, we identified the risk, we evaluated the risk, we calculated the risk priority. Now it's time to do something about the risk. So we talk about risk treatment and risk response options, managing risk from process, third parties, and emergent resources, control types, control design, data collection, aggregation, analysis, and validation. This actually is a training that can be useful not only for IT people, any professional which works in any kind of business today face risk. So the concepts that we develop here are applicable everywhere, not only in IT risks, not only in information systems, even in business risks or credit risk or market risk or any kind of risk. Roles accountable for risk and control ownership, procedures to process and function high amounts of variability, etc. And the last one is about information technology and security. This is the most technical part of this training, which focus on information security. We will examine enterprise architecture, project management, emerging technologies, etc. Let me now go to CPSC. This is a very short material. It focuses on personally identifiable information, personal data. So we have 2 topics, governance and application and software. In the governance section, we talk about privacy program requirements, privacy engineering objectives, practices, the types of privacy protection. We talk about laws and regulation, especially for trainings delivered in the Kingdom. We focus a lot on PDPL, on the Privacy Personal Data Protection Law, because there are some specific things that are special for the PDPL, and they differ from GDPR or HIPAA or other privacy laws globally. Common privacy laws and regulation, various privacy standards, etc. And the second topic is about applications and software. So we talk about privacy by design, privacy breaches, APIs and web services, tracking technologies, wireless networks, TLS, secure cells, etc. The last course, the last certification of these 5 premium certifications is the certified in the governance of enterprise IT. Here we have this content, 4 domains. The first one is governance of enterprise IT. Again, we start with governance. And what exactly we discuss in this domain how to build a governance framework, a business governance framework, something that makes sure that the performance part of the infographic will not break. Every project we start will finish because it is aligned with the objectives. We need it. Every product we buy, it is aligned with the objectives. We will use it. Every task we perform serves and contributes to the vision. So this is our concern. That's why we need a governance framework, to make sure that we can serve the vision and the business objectives all the time. Technology framework, we translate this to technology requirement, technology practices, and special reference to information governance. Whenever you hear the term governance, it means that we do the right thing. We have the right information systems, technology governance. We do the same, we execute the same process for the business, the right process for the business, governance framework, and we have the right data that we need to support our processes, information governance. So the topics for governance framework, components of a framework, organizational structure, strategy development, culture, business ethics. The topics for technology governance, tools, processes, methodologies, and service infrastructure environment. And the topics for information governance, how to evaluate stakeholder needs, direct the practices to serve the goal of stakeholders, and monitor if we have the right information and if we use them correctly, etc. The rest of the three domains are less important for this certification. The first domain has 40% of the exam. The rest have 15, 15, and 10. So IT resources includes resource planning and resource optimization. It's a little bit technical section. We talk about how to acquire resources, how to plan the resources that we need, availability management, demand management, capacity management. All these are included in this domain. One domain which is very important, and I'm sure that it will give you a lot of weapons to face the management questions, is the benefits realization domain. This is my favorite. Why? Because it helps us calculate, realize, and present the return on IT investment. You know, every change, everything that we put inside the organization is an investment for the management. And sometimes we complain as IT people that I cannot do that because the budget has not been approved. I don't have money. My budget for this year is very limited. Why? Because 99% of the cases, we fail to justify the investment in front of the management. If we don't show to the management that there is a value that we will get from this investment, of course the budget will not be approved. We only have the budget to keep the lights on, to keep the existing systems up and running. If we want to change something, if we want to really be a business enabler for the business, we need to see everything as an investment. So in this section, we learn about IT performance and oversight and how to manage the IT-enabled investments. We talk a lot about business case, about investment evaluation, about net present value, about internal rate of return, about cash flows. It's a very interesting section to justify decisions about IT investment and IT expenditure. And the last domain is about risk optimization, unexpected events, what we can do with cases, with circumstances that are uncertain. So how to evaluate the governance of enterprise IT, how to make sure that the management program is established, how to align the processes with regulatory compliance objectives. We talk a lot about the right part of the infographic, the conformance part. Risk strategy and risk management are the two domain sections. Finally, I know that I talk too much. Thank you very much for your time so far. I am ready to answer any question, any concern you may have.
Thank you, Nicholas. I think there is a question here from Ahmed Madkour about the differentiation between CISA and ISO 27000.
Excellent question. Thank you very much. I will answer in two ways. The first answer will be one phrase, and then I will give more extensive information. The phrase is like that. ISO 27000 series is a tool for the information security manager. Does not cover everything that the information security manager needs to know. ISO 27001 gives you controls that you can use to establish and run an information security management system. But it doesn't talk about alignment. It doesn't talk about strategy. It doesn't talk about things like that. So one of the tools that the information security manager can use, one of the frameworks of the standards that can support its job is the ISO 27000, 7001, 7002, 7018, 17, 35, etc. The whole family of standards are a very good addition to our weaponry as information security manager. But in order to make sure that you have the right information security for your organization and the money you spend to information security will come back in a form of value, you need the CISM.
Thank you, Nicholas. Another question from Ihab. He's asking, what's the difference between information system and information technology?
Information system and information technology. Information system is everything that support information creation, flow, disposal inside the business process. So we have the business process on top, whatever we do to deliver value to our customers. And this business process is supported by information systems. Information systems are divided in applications and data. We have data that we use, we are necessary to do our job, and we also have applications which deal with this data. But in order for these information systems to run and to get live, let's say, we need technology. Technology is the machines, the networks, the information assets, the devices. So I would say that information technology is one step below the information system. Okay. This distinction, by the way, it's not mine. It is based on TOGAF. TOGAF is an enterprise architecture framework, and this actually distinguishes between the three layers of architecture: business architecture, information system architecture, and technology architecture.
Okay, the next question from Nazar. Is there any mapping between CISA new exam and the GRC?
CISA new exam and the GRC in general, yes, of course, because we start with governance, we talk about risk, and we also cover compliance. Detailed mapping, if you mean, for example, which paragraph maps to which concept of GRC, no, there is no something like that. There is a detailed syllabus of the CISA exam, what you need to know. Some of them are are corresponding to GRC concepts.
Thank you. طيب, asking about the C Guide certificate guy or holder. What kind of role can the holder play in the organization? C Guide.
The C Guide is the guy. It's a little bit strange. The C Guide is the guy I need. Is the guy I need to make sure that the money I spend to the IT will come back. This is the role of the governance of enterprise IT professional. He makes sure, or she makes sure, that every penny, every let's say halalas I spend in the IT will give something to the organization, will add to the value of the organization. I have the right systems, I have the right cost, and I get the benefit that I expect. This is the role of the C Guide. The C Guide is probably the CIO, the Chief Information Officer, needs to have a C Guide certification. It helps a lot. Like the CISM will help a lot the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer.
Okay, Al-Anud asking about if she is not specialized in technical, she is not IT. So is it required to pass CISA if she is not IT?
Excellent question. I was expecting this question, actually. As I told you, we have many participants coming from other auditing topics, for example, financial auditors. Is important to be familiar with some basic concepts of IT in order to attend the CISA course. But you don't need to be an IT person. We have preparatory courses which may give you the basic concepts of IT. Malek can give you more details. And we cover everything you need to know in, let's say, one day, everything you need to know to attend CISA course. It is true that to have an IT background expedite the whole thing, but it is not something that is a prerequisite. You don't need to come from IT background to attend CISA and pass CISA exam.
Okay, thank you. Nada asking, I am handling technical project in executive office and I don't go deeply into operational process, just high level. Is it worth to take CISA?
Okay, let's clarify something. I will answer with a question. What is your vision? What is your plan for yourself? If you stay in technical projects handling, etc., I would suggest to go for a more, let's say, project management certification. If your plan is to add something useful in your CV to target a managerial position in the IT, to become, for example, head of IT or something like that, yes, CISA is a very worthy certification. Something that I forgot to tell you, and this is valid for all ISACA certification, is that the fact that you pass the exam does not make you certified. The exam is the first step. After you pass the exam, you need to prove, you need to apply for certification. And in this application, you need to prove that you have a couple of 3 to 5 years of experience in the domains covered by the certification. So if, for example, you already have 5 years of experience in auditing and pass the CISA exam, you can become CISA immediately. If you don't have this experience, if you are a fresh graduate, for example, and you pass the exam, you need to wait for 5 years or 3 years if your, let's say, degree is related to information system, and to have the certification, to get the certification, because the certification shows also experience, not only that you pass the exam. In order someone to be named as CISA, needs to have experience in auditing or information system or protection of or security, etc. The truth is that CISA is one of the most worthy certifications I have myself. And it opens your mind. It really opens your mind if you want to stay in the IT field.
Thank you, Nicholas. The next question by Ahmed. He's asking about CISA and CIA interaction. He said, shall I get CIA after completion CISA?
If you want to stay in the audit field, I strongly suggest to get both, yes. Because nowadays, every auditor, every internal auditor needs to be familiar with information system, needs to be able to audit information system. I personally, and this is something that I know it will be against me, but I personally support a lot of internal auditors because they don't have the capability to audit information systems. So I play the role of information system auditor as an external auditor in order to help them audit their own organization. So yes, definitely, go for it.
Okay, Ahmed also asking about the new exam. Is it shorter than the old one?
No, it's the same. The duration of the exam is the same, the material is the same. Some things have been removed because they are obsolete now, and some things related to emerging technologies have been added. The size of the exam and the size of the material is the same.
Okay. Ahmed also asking about some difficulties in scheduling the exams. Okay, we can contact you, Ahmed, and support you.
These are practical things we can resolve. We will gladly support you to schedule your exam and everything you need.
Omar asking about passing score.
Oh, this is a long story. Thank you for your question also. The scoring of ISACA exam is more secret than the Coca-Cola recipe. This is what our accreditors say to us. All the trainers of ISACA pass every year an interview with specialized people, which makes sure that we are able to teach the course, etc. So once I asked someone of these people, what is the scoring algorithm of the exam? And he replied with this phrase: it is more secret than the Coca-Cola recipe. Actually, you get a score between 200 and 800. 800 is the maximum, the perfect score. 200 is nothing. And the base is 450. So if you get more than 450 points, you pass the exam. But it's not proportional. So using some algebra, you will say that, okay, 200, 800, the middle is 500. So if I answer half of the question, I get 500. It's not like that. It's more complicated. Probably the questions are not equally important. Probably they give more points to some questions. I don't know. But the truth is that, namely, the passing score is 450. But this cannot be converted to number of questions you answer to your exam. We don't know the algorithm, actually. I cannot give you a percentage. Okay, the answer is 450 in a scale in a score between 200 and 800.
Mm-hmm. Omar also asked, he's saying that I am CIA, CRMA, CFEA, so understood. Okay, the next question by Jassim or Jassim. What about CMA, CPA, and also there is CIA regarding the integration with CISA?
I will give you the same answer like before. Go for it. If you want to stay in the auditing field, CISA is a great addition to your CV, to your weaponry, because everything nowadays is supported by information systems.
Okay, so far I don't have any extra questions. No other questions.
Okay, then.
So, okay, thank you. Is there a promotion? For sure, Nazar? We will contact you. We will contact everybody here and give them a coupon of discount. And also, you will find 8 elements in our package. It's include also the process of application. And good luck. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you.